good morning to you on this beautiful Friday morning. It's nice and sunny out there, so I think maybe later in the afternoon, I'm just looking at the window, we can go for a long walk with Roxy herself into the park. Right, so first of all, let's do some Christmas beading. I love this. I was doing Christmas project yesterday, and they were doing a Christmas project in BeadClub yesterday after the live as well, and I kind of sort of I think this is it, like making stuff which is Christmassy gets you into more and more into the Christmas spirit, which is then gets you more and more excited about Christmas. And I love Christmas, and I love Christmas because we can make loads of different things to, you know, from jewelry to home decor to, yeah, especially in home decor we can do a lot of different stuff like we done. And actually I think the poinsettias and the hollies are coming up again. Loads of baubles, icicles, loads of different things. So I love Christmas. It is my favorite making holiday, I guess, because you get to make so much different stuff for it. So let's get started. So I have got you today, it's a bit of a twisted take on the traditional earrings we had for the Margarita earrings, and I wanted to have something which is a little bit more complicated, so it looks a little bit more, you know, like a little bit more intricate than just a normal when you add the Margarita beads together. However, I didn't want to really overcomplicate it and do a lot of stitching, and you know, I still wanted to make it a fairly quick make and easier to kind of sort of put together. So I came up with this with 3mm pearls in between, sort of a ring. I have to show you how it's all kind of assembled, resembling some baubles which would be on your tree, and then you got your Margarita beads in there. I just love it. I really love how it turned around, and we got some crystals in there as well, so even giving you an extra sparkle. But I really do love how these turned out. Right, let me just quickly say hello. Good morning, Rachel here. A cold, bright and sunny Barrow. She's saying, Edward, good morning. Debbie, Elaine, Jen, good morning from a sunny Sudbury. Anastasia, good morning. Camille, Esha, Joanne here. Sun has come out to play today. These Christmas earrings are really sweet. Jonah's saying, I love them. I really do love them too. They're a little bit different, a little bit more makey. Right, okay, let me pop you over to the website quickly, and then we're gonna get started. That was the picture of just the traditional ones on there you've seen. But do let me know which color do you want me to demo with, so I can demo with that one. I got all the colors here. Otherwise I might tempted with the teal. Right, okay, so by now you know the drill, what you need to do. totallybeads.co.uk, you land on the front page. Do check this one out as well. However, I'm gonna go up. You can access the video tutorials here as well, but I usually use it at the top. Just click on this link, say jewelry making video tutorials, and then scrolling down hundreds of tutorials going back many years now. I'm gonna click on the Christmas tree bauble earrings. So what I did here is that because how many crystals and pearls you have on a strand, it made sense to put two colors together. So you got AB and pink together, you got aqua and lime together, you got green and red together, and you got lilac and charcoal together. So $9.99 from $11.99. You're gonna making two pairs, not just one but two pairs. I think it's £3.50 just for the beads. So this is really a good deal, and you get all you get the pins, you get the pearls, you get the crystals, you get the Margarita beads, you get the air wires as well to be able to make these beautiful pairs of earrings. So yeah, do check them out on the website. I'm gonna come back to my screen, there we go, and then we're gonna, so what color am I going to be demoed? Jenny's saying red. Shirley, good morning again. Green and red please. Camille is saying, so I think we're gonna go with red or green. Sometimes no actually, because the baubles are gonna be, let me just change the color here, the baubles are going to be gold color on there, so that doesn't. Red sometimes can look a little bit funny on the screen, like it's glowing. I think it's just the color itself, but the pearls are gold, so we can do that, no problem. Right, there we go. Right, just getting now Headpin boards. So we're going to be working with 3mm pearls. We're going to wrap these. We're going to make little wrapped loops with the 3mm pearls. It's a little bit, you could just sort of loop it around, and that would look really good too if you want to be a bit quicker. I do love to do wrap loops, and especially when I'm using headpin balls. So headpin ball is a little bit thinner than normal headpin, what we usually use. Normal headpin is 0.7mm, and this one is 0.6, so it's a little bit softer gauge. And I love wrapping sort of the little loops around it. It just makes look like there is something knotted on there. I really do love it. Red is great. Shirley saying till, Rachel. Peace and love, Shirley. Anastasia saying, and same as you, Anastasia. Ah, bless you. Right, okay, so we need tools for this one. So we're gonna be using round nose pliers. Now, because we want to make these loop very small, we want round nose pliers which has got like kind of sort of smaller end to them. So I'm just gonna bring these ones in. These are really old pliers. They're foreign ones. I'm not even sure, I had them for years, but they got sort of quite nice and thin ends to them. So if I look at another one, which this one you can see has got, let me just bring both of them up. That one has got like, you can't see it, I guess the camera doesn't really pick it up very well, but it's got like a little bit thicker end. So the loops what you're creating on there is going to be bigger, and because you're working quite a small earring here, we want the loops are nice and small. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move these beauties out of the way. What I usually do is kind of sort of batch do them. So I'm gonna need 15 beads on a loop for my earrings per earring. So it's 5, 10, 15. So what I usually do, I work on a bead mat, which is sort of like or this is more like a felt material, and I just add my beads onto the wires and I just place it down in front of me. And I like to do this because then I don't have to pick up and put down the pliers, and I'll show you just in a sec. I can kind of be quicker with my make. So I do it step by step. So I would get the beads out, get my pins out, lay them out in front of me, and then put them all on pins, and then I will start to turn the loops on them. There we go. And just keep it. Doesn't matter for this one, because sometimes you can get with the headpin balls, because they are softer gauge, that some of them can be a little bit sort of wonky or bent. It doesn't matter for this one because we're gonna be cutting up quite a big chunk of this wire. We only using a tiny bit at the end. And I love the headpin balls as well because it does have that little ball at the end. It just makes it, I think, a bit more decorative. So this one is a little bit bent, but we're not really going to be using that bent side that much, so they're great to use up for something like this. Good morning, Judith, nice to see you here. Carol, good morning as well. Although the only trouble when you're trying to pick up something with a bent pin, the bead is, the minute you lift the pin off the table, the bead rolls away, or rolls off it rather. Right, so I got all 15 of them on there, so and I'm ready to get on with the next steps. I'm just going to push these pins to the side because you don't need them. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see it better, and then we are ready to make. So the way how I do it, and it's really quite quick, I'm going to pick up, because I'm laid them out in front of me, I can pick them up, possibly like leaving maybe a quarter of an inch of wire showing underneath it, and I'm going to show you what exactly I do. I have got both pliers in my hand, however I am kind of, because free to hold on to the bead just for a sec. If I need, I'm going to manipulate this top part just here, even with the pliers in my hand. So I'm not, I kind of sometimes, when you have to pick up and put down pliers over and over again, and that's where sort of most of the time goes when you're making something like this, and it's very repetitive, so you'll be doing the same thing over and over. So I just kind of grab onto the bead and push the bead down with my nail, and I, at the same time as I'm curling this down, I kind of pull this over a little bit over my nail. You could do this with pliers as well. I sort of kind of just got used to my nails and I destroy my nails with it, but I'm gonna curl this down almost all the way around, so I just have got a little loop there, and this is quite crucial, I guess, and it makes it so much easier just by doing that tiny little bit of step. I'm gonna pop this back in here, and then I'm gonna just grab the end of the wire with my other plier, and I can really manipulate it and pull it around. So I'm just going to wrap it around a couple of times, and then as this stands, I just drop it down on my mat and leave it there for a sec. And then, because they're already on there, I can go in the right position, just grab it again and pulling it over my nail a little bit, so starting that little bit of angle and then curling it down, grabbing it with my plier, and I'm very, very quickly can wrap it around. Now this is important, because if you have to wrap so many of them in a you know, I mean, this one you need 15, so this one is not too bad at all. But if you are making, let's say, a bracelet where you need maybe 200 of these, it's really nice to be able to like speed up and do things very, very quickly. So there we go, and I'm just keep going, so keep grabbing, leaving a little bit of gap. Just, if I didn't do this, let's say on this one, I don't sort of pull it over, I just curl it over straight away, and then I wrap it around, and I'm going to show you what happens. So instead of having the loop right in the middle, what you end up is the loop is kind of sort of towards one side. Let me just move this out so this one will focus on it. The loop is kind of sort of more to one side, so it's more gonna be like a P shape, and then you have to insert your round nose pliers in there and then push it and pull it so it kind of gets into the middle. But the minute you push and pull the top part of it, the coiling, it's kind of becomes a little bit less neat as well. So that's why, and then you have to tidy that part up as well, and then I can put it down. So that's why when you do it that way, that you are kind of bend it over and start that, so your little loop, what you're going to be creating is going to be above the middle of the wire where it goes into the bead, rather than having it on one side. And I can curl this down. Sometimes you can, because it's a softer wire, you can do this by hand as well. I mean I'm grabbing the wire and wrapping it around because it's a softer gauge. I don't like to do that so much. If I'm absolutely desperate, I will, and I'll show you. So I could just pull this over, I could wrap this with my hand, but it's the wrapping, it's not going to be, I can't, and I just added some lotion to my hand as well, but can you see the wrapping is not quite as close to the base wire as I like it to be when I wrap it. And I'm just going to bring one up here. When I wrapped it with the pliers are pulling at the same time. They're both okay, they're not going to come apart. I just like the pliers. Let me know if you which way do you like to do it. Would you like to wrap it with your hand, or you definitely need to use another pair of pliers so you can apply pressure like me? What do you prefer to use? There we go. I'm almost actually, I've got probably another 5 or 6 to do. So very quickly we can wrap a lot with this technique. It's really, I always say, it's always good to kind of like get organized with your work ahead, because it's just, work becomes quicker. By my work, I mean beading becomes quicker and more enjoyable as well. And easier, because you're only having to concentrate on one step. And if anything goes a little bit wonky, you can always just sort of pull and push, whichever way you need to pull and push to straighten it out. We're working with wire. I love working with wire. And I still show she's definitely need to use the pliers. Yeah, I'm like that as well. I just like the ability to like hold on to it tight and pull tight. Next one. So that's it. I've got 2 more and I've wrapped all 15 of them. There we go. Now if you grab it further up and then you got extra wire, don't worry, just keep on sort of curling it over, and even if it goes all the way over, it doesn't matter, because once you grab it with the other pliers, you can manipulate it where you need to manipulate it to, and then curl it up. Then grabbing the next one, there we go. Right, so my next step, I have got all of these, but they all got like long ends on them, so I need to trim them. So I'm gonna grab my cutters right in front of me. I was like, where's my cutters? And it was right in front of me. So I'm gonna have my cutters. I'm gonna hold on to the sort of the end I want to cut off, and the cutters usually have like a flush part to them and one which is kind of sort of dipped in. So I really want to have the flush part as close as possible to my loop, making sure I'm not obviously cutting off the any of the loop I created, but as close I can get to that coil. And I turn this down towards the table, so if it's gonna fly, because sometimes when you cut a wire, things can fly over, the beads can fly over the place. It sort of flies towards the table, and again I'm gonna hold on to this end. Now you can do this by hand, or you can grab it with a pair of pliers, whichever is easier for you. In one hand I'm pulling this towards me, and with the other hand I'm pushing away with the other pliers, so I'm getting as close as I can get to that bead. There we go. And I'm just going to keep going, cutting all of them off that way. But see, when you are doing it in like sequences like this, so you're doing one step and then you're doing another one and another one across all the kind of beads you need, it does sort of save time as well, because if I was doing it in one go, then I would have to pick up and put down my Rondelle pliers 15 times. Then I needed to pick up and put down my chain nose 15 times because for the next step. So we are saving quite a bit of time by sort of batch making these things all together. And I think there is something really therapeutic as well, and really, for me, I really like when you're doing a step over and over again. I feel like it really calms my mind. It's like knitting or any other crafts as well. You have that effect, that calming effect. And when you're doing the same step over and over again, you don't have to think about it really what you're doing. For the first couple you do, and then it's kind of sort of becomes automatic. So we got all 15 of them there. Now the next step, what you need to do, depending of how close you were able to cut your wire, you might want to tuck the ends in. However, the ends will be towards sort of in between two Margarita beads. Let me just grab this one. So you're not really gonna see, even if they stick out a little bit, you won't be able to feel them because there is no skin can get next to where your ends are gonna be. However, to tuck them in, I just grab them with my round nose pliers, and either we sort of try to find where the end is. Let me just bring this up so you can see it better. So put it, come on, focus on us. There we go. So try to find where the end is, and I go in with my chain nose pliers, and all I'm doing is just giving a little bit of push to the end so it's closer to my coil, because some sticking out. Come on, I want you to focus on here. There we go. It's so small. If I turn it around, can we see like a little bit sticking out? And I'm just going to press on it, just pressing it towards the coil, and that's it. So you could do this for all of them. It only prolongs, I guess, the whole make by a minute or two, but it just gives sort of a peace of mind that all ends are nicely tucked and tidied away. Because that's little scratching feeling sometimes when you get from an earring or from a necklace. It's the same when the scratching feeling you get from a tag as well when you wear something new like a clothes. I think that's for me, I really don't like the little scratchy feeling. And also when I'm doing this, I'm kind of quality checking my loops. Are they in the middle? Are they in the right way? If not, then I can sort of pull it and push it a little bit, and then I'm ready to assemble the earring itself in a minute. Oh, come on, this one doesn't want to jump on. Raise the end. There we go. So very quickly just tucking those ends in. But if I'm in a hurry, usually this is the step what we skip. There we go, and the last one. So the next thing we need to do is to kind of add these baubles on our earring or in between. Now we need to create something which is like a snowflake like structure which can sit in between the two beads. So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna use some of the crystals for this as well. So I'm just going to grab another hat pin. I'm going to grab another hat pin. I'm going to pick up one crystal. I'm going to pick up one of these wrap loops, another crystal, another wrap loop, another crystal, another wrap loop, and so on until I have 6 of each on there. So I'm gonna make one with 6 of each. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. And then 6. So the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into sort of a snowflake like structure, and it's really easy. What we're going to do, I'm going to bend this pin into a U shape and keep on bending it. Eventually the two ends kind of sort of cross over each other, just like that. I'm going to hold on to all of the beads below, just like that. I'm gonna take my pliers, I'm gonna grab both ends, and I'm gonna start twisting just like that. I'm gonna twist the ends together. I'm gonna do a few twists, and then I'm gonna stop, just kind of sort of wiggle it and keep on twisting again until I have the beginning and the end kind of closed on each other, just like that. If you twist it too much, it can crack the crystal, so I'm kind of gonna stop there. And then I'm gonna trim it. So I'm gonna trim it. I only really want a couple of twists because you don't need any more, so it will stay together. So I'm gonna trim off quite a bit. And then we have got sort of a snowflake shape, little, come on, little spacer bead created, which we're going to add in between the two crystals. Now I need to repeat this but with 5 for the next one. So I'm going to pick up crystal, pearl, crystal, pearl, crystal, until I have 5 of each on my little headpin ball here. 4 and then 5. There we go. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn it into a U shape, holding on to the beads at the bottom, crossing the top over, and then getting my pliers. And once again, I'm just going to start twisting and twisting it and twisting it until it gets into a nice round shape coming around. You can stop and kind of sort of re-wiggle it if you need to, and then go back and keep on twisting it. There we go. I'm going to trim this as well. Again, I only the very minimal little bit of wire at the base there to hold it together, and that's it. So my little snowflakes are done. Now I'm going to start to assemble. Come on, open up. I'm going to start to assemble my earring. So I need, and you got one of these in the, I need a gold one. Where is it? I need one of these. So you got one of these in the kit as well, just to add to the bottom of the earring. I'm gonna try to, for this time, I'm gonna try to find a straightish sort of area. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna put this bottom bead, which resembles the bottom of our tree. I'm gonna add the largest crystal on there. Then I'm gonna add the one with 6. Now what I like to do, you can't kind of always do it depending on how much you pulled it together. So if you look at this from above, and let me just hold this with my pliers there. So because this circle we have created, it has got somewhat a larger hole, much larger hole than the pin. So this could like kind of sort of go one side or to the other side. So we want to stabilize this, and the way how we do that, I'm going to pick up a crystal itself, and I'm going to let this crystal to go and sit in the middle of the circle, just like that. Let me just grab it from the bottom so you can see it. So this one will stop our larger snowflake circle to be able to wriggle around, and it will sit in the earring very, really nicely. So then I'm gonna add the next one on. Now the next round is a bit smaller, so I don't really need to do that. I'm just gonna add that one on. Then the next size down. Then I'm just gonna pick up 4 of these without anything, because I'm trying to draw them in as I'm shaping it. So the bottom one is the largest, and then it's sort of going in and in. Then it's the next size. Then I'm gonna add a single crystal in between this one and the very, very last one, and then a pearl onto the top. Now if you wanted to, you don't, you could make it a little bit smaller by not using one of the smallest links there. That would look on the earring itself. I'm just going to hold on to the wire there. Now what I like to do is down, so I kind of sort of wiggle it around, turn it around, and at the same time I'm pushing down on the beads from the top, so there isn't many gaps. I don't really want to have like sort of anything gappy in between. And then once again I'm gonna kind of sort of fold this over my nail, and you could wrap a little loop here as well if you wanted to, in the same way how we did it with the single pearls, so it's really nice and secure. However, the other thing I like to do is roll down the top, so it's going to become a little bit of a coil, so it's really nice and secure, just making sure there is no end sticking out. And then as I'm going down, I'm holding onto the earring itself. With my right hand in the pliers, I'm pulling to one direction, and with my other hand I'm pulling the beads to the other direction, so I'm really tightening up the whole earring itself. And then that loop just going to sit on the top of my pearls there. And the last thing left to do is to add air wire on the top, which is, where's my gold air wires? One. Yeah, in front of me again. So I'm gonna, because I coiled that, or even if you coil it, or even if you wrap it, you're gonna have to open up the link on the air wire itself. So it's a loop, it's got a little cut at the top. I'm gonna lift it, so I'm gonna twist it open, add my earring on there, and then twist it back in. And then we have got the other pair for our beautiful little Christmas tree earring.